Hey, Miar, how's it going? Good to see you again. Always a pleasure. Hopefully the week is going well for you. Week is almost over. So, it is now 7 o'clock. It's time to enter the pocket dimension where we will paint all the things. The current project is 15mm Revolutionary War. My club is getting ready to, not getting ready like it's a short period, but in July we're going to be doing a Battle of Saratoga game, so everybody's got a little something to paint for it. So here they are in all their glory. So I got a lot of work to do on them yet. But I will say this. Now, you may be familiar with the way that historical miniatures are often packaged in a bag and a holder. So, boom, like that, right? They come in a bag with a holder. That's kind of been the way that miniatures, historical miniatures have always been, sold. It's just kind of a thing. It's inexpensive packaging. It's easy to do. Most historical miniatures producers are small garage operations or medium-sized garage operations in the case of like Old Glory and Blue Moon. And here is one of the units, or some of the troops that I'm putting together, the 6th Continental Infantry in rifle shirts. Well, the problem is, here's the problem. So, this doesn't mean anything. Like, this does not actually seem to correspond to a particular unit. Because these guys here were listed as, let me see if I can find it. I wrote it down on the bottom of one of these tongue depressors here. These guys were listed as 7th Continental Light Infantry. Well, I looked up online and I was trying to find 7th Continental Light Infantry. I could not do so. I could not find the 7th Continental Light Infantry. So, part of me said, well, there was a 7th Infantry and a 6th Infantry and a 5th and a 4th Infantry out of Massachusetts. So maybe they're Massachusetts. Well, once I had decided they were Massachusetts, I had already painted their jackets blue, and supposedly the Massachusetts units were in brown jackets. Now, a lot of times people think, well, the Continental Army was all in blue and the British Army was all in red. Well, that's not really the case. You could see everything from red uniforms to green uniforms to tan uniforms on both sides. Now, not so much the red uniforms with the Continental, but there were some Continental units that did have red jackets, at least starting out. So that caused a lot of undoubtedly a lot of confusion. So anyhow, learning about the uniforms of especially the Continentals has been a real rabbit hole, and it's made me pull my hair out a little bit. Well, not really pull my hair out, but, figuratively speaking. So, I'm going to continue to paint these guys with blue jackets. And then, of course, the guys in the hunting shirts are going to be in hunting shirt colors, which is sort of a buff color, sort of a natural linen color. So, got a ways to go here. So So right now, I did these two lines. I did up their trousers, their waistcoats, and their jackets. So I'll probably... Did it make me lose my hair? No. Fortunately, it didn't make me lose my hair. Not really. Does it make you lose your hair? Haven't you always wanted to pet an owlbear? So I'm going to put these groups aside and start painting the next group. And then after I get their majority of the work done, we'll probably go back and do their detail work, which would be like the all the cross belting and all of that kind of thing. So let me check something real quick before we get stuck in. I want to see. Well, come on now. Trigger a fake message. That's what I want to do. Yeah. So, that's weird. Alright. Well, we'll assume that everything has access to Social Stream Ninja. So we'll assume that it's all working correctly. All three platforms we will assume are working. So we'll set these guys over here. And we'll set these guys over here. And we'll start working on these guys. We'll start with this group here. So, as I tell many of my participants at Paint and Takes, a lot of times you think big brushes or little brushes for little figures. Usually we go with bigger brushes for little figures, but this time around, the little brushes are actually a little bit more useful in this particular exercise here. So let's get some good old Procryl Bold Titanium White. Okay. Alright, we're going to start out with some Procryl Bold Titanium White. We're going to do all their leggings and pants. So I had Taco Bell tonight, so let's see how far we can go. Yeah, I had Taco Bell tonight. I might use a bigger brush at that. Generally do like to use a bigger brush when I can. Where I can. Let's see if this will work for us. Just talking about how jalapenos and hot sauce does not affect me anymore. But I eat an orange spicy chicken sandwich from work and I poop my guts out. Yeah, understandable. Funny how that works sometimes, isn't it? Probably just part of getting older, Myar. I mean, you are a man of a certain age now, so... Things change over the years. Things can change. That's for sure. The chicken sandwiches aren't real. That's for a fact. I know not to eat them. Yeah. But you had one today. Whose chicken sandwich was that? That was the orange spicy. They make them where you work. Some chicken is just chicken bits glued together, you know. Kind of like a hamburger. Only chicken burger is made from a whole lot of different critters. Just some sandwich in the fridge. No, we make college stuff. It's just in the break room. Okay, yeah. All right. I was coming back from a late service call this afternoon, and I was like, wow, I'm going to be hungry by the time I get home. I should stop and get something. So there's the new Taco Bell in the little burg that I passed through coming back from where I was coming from. So I was like, let me get that Taco Bell. I thought about Wendy's, but Wendy's was on the other side of the road, and I really didn't feel like crossing traffic. So I made a run for the border. So we'll see how much work the old bio break sign gets tonight. Although it's a newer Taco Bell, so maybe the grill isn't quite seasoned in yet enough to cause problems. Who knows? Who knows? But anyway, if you're just watching tonight, this is your first time watching, folks, feel free to hit that like and subscribe. Hop in chat if you've got any questions about miniatures or miniature painting, the hobby in general. If you're having problems with the technique. If you want advice on how to paint something, That's what we're here for. If you just want to watch and pick up what I'm doing now, of course, I'm not the great super duper painter. I do enjoy painting, and I hope that I can help you enjoy your painting too. Remember, you don't have to be good at something to enjoy it. What is good? Well, good is relative when you're talking about a hobby. In a hobby, if you enjoy it, then you are good at it. This is one of those parts of life where you can really be absolutely subjective. Now, because there's different ways to approach it. You take 100 different people that are painting miniatures, and you give them the same project, and they will all approach it differently. There is no code as to how to do things when you're painting a miniature. I could paint these guys hot pink if I wanted to. Of course, my club would probably skin me alive. Hey. Say, that's not historically accurate, and you're right, it wouldn't be. But the way I'm painting them already isn't historically accurate. But it's close. It is, I guess you'd say, for the popular opinion, it would be. But, there would be some grown-yard out there, button counter, lace police, would say it's completely wrong. Like, well, I tried to match the unit to what was written on the bag hanger, and I came up with nothing. And the headgear on these fellows look very much like the Lafayette Corps, which didn't exist until 1781. So, using these guys at Saratoga as models is already a little bit weird. Because their headgear, I did not see their headgear anywhere in the early part. It represented, in all the research that I did, it didn't have anything represented. This headgear was not in the early part of the war, from what I could tell. But hey, Warpgate, how you doing? What is happening? JP Warpgate says, hey Sam, how's it going? Congratulations on the deal with AK, by the way. That's pretty cool. I am painting up some rebels from the AWI Battle of Saratoga, American War of Independence. So, our club is getting ready, got a Battle of Saratoga game planned for July. So I'm just doing 2 thin coats of white on some of the parts that need to be white, which is the pants, the trousers, and the waistcoat peeking out from underneath the jacket. And let's see. Am I heading to Nova? No, AKMR. I will not be going to Nova this year. Wish I could. But I'm also not going to Gen Con either. I'm trying to leave room, more flexibility in my schedule this year because of family. Folks are getting older and I need to go see them. So I got to figure out some time to go see them. So I will be at Origins because it's practically local to me. It's I count it as a local convention. But no, I wish I could go to Nova. I just don't think I can work it into the schedule this year. But no, Myar. I said AK. Warpgate is sort of got a little sponsorship deal with AK now. I believe, if I understood the post correctly. So he's sort of what is going on. He's sort of doing with AK what Army Painter is doing with Dave and those guys. So something to the effect. It's not exact, but it's something similar. It seems. So let's see. I want to do the command guys up a lot nicer than everything else. Still, even if I get a little sloppy, it's okay. It's just paint. I can paint right over it. So. We'll let that dry up before I go in and do the blue parts. Let's see, one of the AK, yeah, so Sam's saying he's one of the AK ambassadors in the U.S., but AP do send him tons of stuff to play with as well. He's a lucky boy. AP and AK are his faves, he says. Yep, all good stuff. And, so today, while it was already official that 3rd edition of Tech Commander has dropped, you are now able to order and get your books. Now, if you hadn't already pre-ordered already, they are available now. The first shipment of I don't want to say hardback because they're not hardback. They're softback books, but physical copies now exist and are available for Tech Commander 3rd edition. So, and I have got my name in the book. As well as several models in the book painted. So you can pick up the PDF for $10 at CDogGamestudios.com. The full book for $68 unless you pre-ordered it. Or just get the basic rules for free. Myar says he loves all things AK. As I understand it, they've got markers out as well now too. So, and I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but if you like speed paints, Procryl now has a speed paint-like product. Although they say they're not exactly speed paints. They wouldn't call them that. I haven't had a chance to watch that particular video. And then something else that was cool, I thought, was that Beer Games, which Warpgate Studios painted at the Bureau Games booth this year at Adepticon. Bureau Games has got their 1490 Doom game out. Of course, I believe the Kickstarter just finished up. Is it still going? I can't remember. I think it just finished up. But they've got another game out called Carnivore, or I think it's coming. And if you like dinosaurs, Carnivore looks like a fantastic game. You don't even have to get miniatures for it. You just get the cheap dinosaurs from Walmart, and you can play it. But they were describing it on Build Paint Play this week, and man, it sounds like a terrific game. If you have people in your life, kids that like dinosaurs, or if you're a big kid that likes dinosaurs, I like dinosaurs. I still like dinosaurs. Look into getting yourself a copy of Carnivore by Bureau Games. Of course, I don't get any consideration for that. I just think it's pretty neat. I'm going to grab one. So I'm talking about it. I talk about the things that I think are cool, whether I get anything out of it or not. However, I am also a brand ambassador for Next Level Miniatures. Next Level Miniatures out of St. Louis, Missouri. Made right here in the United States. High quality, inexpensive thermoplastic miniatures. Use my code ROCKIT5, ROKKIT 5, for 5% off your first order with Next Level Miniatures. So check them out. Oh, thanks, Sam. Appreciate that. So that is, we do get some consideration there. High quality, inexpensive plastic miniatures. I need to get that interview edited up and put out on the interwebs, on the YouTubes. Oh yeah. All right. Well, thanks for stopping in, Warpgate. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, Sam. Always a pleasure to see you, friendo. And have a good evening, wherever your evening takes you. Well, yeah, they're kind of made out of they're made out of Cyocast, so it's a thermoplastic. It's a, so all plastics are resin, right? And so you could say, well, it's a resin-based material and be technically correct, which technically correct is always the best way to be correct. But they use Cyocast in their production. Sounds like they've got a pretty good stock of it too, from what I was what the gentleman was saying. So, but yes, they really are plastic. I have some. I had some here. Is this box got them in it? Because I picked up some. I picked up some last year from them, and it's not in this box. Is it in this? They aren't in this bag either. Let's see. Not that bag. That's Titan Forge. I've got a lot of things on my desk here. I need to organize things before too long again. Well, I can't seem to find them. Miara would show you some of their work, but I don't have any to hand at the moment. Unfortunately. All right. Let's do another coat of white on these pants. Nice thin coat. A nice another thin coat. Thin coats for the blue coats. But these are, if you want to really go down a crazy rabbit hole, start looking up uniforms of the American War of Independence, or as some would call it, the Revolutionary War. Although most wars are revolutionary. During the Age of Revolutions, also, I went to Best Buy a little while back, a couple of weeks ago, and I saw a 15-inch monitor, like remote monitor, that I think I could probably put on a swivel arm stand and put here over my paint station, so that I don't have to constantly look off to the left to see everybody's insightful comments, japes, and puns. When am I getting a new PC? When I have $1,200 that I don't know what to do with. How's that? I have $12 to $1,500 that I don't know what to do with. I think first off I ought to make sure I have that secondary. Get that secondary monitor. I think that'll help a lot. Because when people come in to chat and I don't see their chat, it makes them mad and they never want to come back again, you know. Yeah, you can't get them much cheaper. That's true. I could probably find something refurbished as well for even less. But I know what I'm looking for and I know what I want. And I could... The refurbished stuff is like office computers. And I need something with a little bit more oomph, a little more grit in the guts. So something with a much more robust GPU, I think, like a gaming computer. As well as the other thing I need to do is I need to get an off-board mixer. So there's things. Get one $200 to $300 at Walmart, capable of streaming. Yeah. Those are just those little tiny boxes with like one USB input. Those are kind of more for like home office type stuff, though, aren't they? No. Huh. Well, if you happen to go to Walmart, these are towers. Oh, interesting. Well, if you happen to swing by Walmart and take a picture of one, and send it to me. Send me the picture. Let me know. Let me see. One terabyte of storage. 10 gigs of RAM. That's not bad. It's not bad at all. I just wonder how tied to the cloud they are. You know? I don't want to have to do all my processing and everything out on the cloud. I like to have things on board. You ever watch Louis Rossmann? Right to Repair. Interesting stuff there. The computer that I have, the laptop I have right now, with 1 terabyte of storage and 10 gigs of RAM, you don't need to be tied to the cloud. You just turn it off. Sure. Makes sense. Like my computer that I have here, the laptop, I could take it and have it worked on it. I'm not sure about all these new ones, you know. I don't know if they're designed to be user serviced or not, you know. And then I see some of these towers and they've got nothing in them. You know, I'm from the old school where there was a card for everything, you know. These newfangled machines throw me for a loop when I'm looking at them. I used to be a lot more up on all that stuff, and then I started buying my own computers, and you know, once you get what you want, you kind of stop looking, you know. So all of my understanding of computers kind of went by the wayside because I really wasn't keeping up with it. Because, like I said, once I get what I want, I don't have the burning desire or need to try to get anything else. So I stopped looking. Let's see. That's what I did to my laptop and tower. Yeah, laptops aren't good at being worked on. Fans and small things, yes. If you have a great tech shop, you can have more done. But if your laptop dies, you'll have to get something. You know. Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, you can definitely hear my fan having a hard time. But the thing that I really like, though, the thing that is newer and actually came out more since I even got this laptop, which I got this laptop back in 2012. So it's it's pretty old. What is that? A dozen years? It's 12 years old. When I got it, solid state drives really weren't that much of a thing. Though I guess laptops have always kind of had more the solid state drive thing. Or they used flash memory. They had flash memory. That's what it was. But I don't really know. I mean, that was sort of the thing that made laptops more viable, was less moving parts as far as regards the hard drive, you know. Solid state hard drive was the thing. But they were expensive and hard to make. So. But for sure, it's definitely a consideration. But I really don't keep up with all that kind of thing as much as I used to. It's kind of like if you're looking for a car to buy, you know, you're looking at all the specs, and you know more about cars than anybody when you're looking for a car to buy. Digital is the most available. Manufacturers are getting away from SSD. I'd rather have an old SSD than a new one, and the digital can slowly corrupt files. Yeah, I agree. Very true. So these are the guys in the hunting shirts. Which was sort of an early uniform. I got 3 of these guys in the hunting shirts. But they would actually dye their hunting shirts as well. They were not against dyeing their shirts to match in or to give another level of uniformity to their outfits. The gentleman that's coordinating this particular game did a neat little experiment when he dry brushed a bunch of his troops in the hunting shirts. He used colors like bayberry and blue and green, and it looked really good. But I think I'm sticking with just more of the linen, the undyed linen look, which we'll get that when we do the do a wash on it. Saratoga was an interesting battle. It actually, some people break it up as to First Saratoga and Second Saratoga, Battle of Freeman's Farm and all that, but if you look at it, it was really one, I guess you could say one campaign over a couple of weeks there, really. A mini campaign, maybe? Oh, think you lost me for a minute there? Possibly. Possibly. But the Battle of Saratoga is an interesting one to take a look at. It's kind of funny because it was where Benedict Arnold really proved his worth, but for some reason nobody paid any attention to his acumen. Really quite a skilled gentleman when it came to what he was doing, the business at hand. Okay. Excuse me while I handle this bot. Hey, how's it going, Patty's Parlors? Just a minute, I'm handling a bot here. Alright. I got rid of a bot. How's it going, Patty? How you doing? How is the weather out where you're at? So, there is on my Instagram on my story. There is a picture of the the physical copy of 3rd edition of Tech Commander. It is live. It is available. Of course, if you pre-ordered it, one will be on its way soon. Pre-order was $56, and the current price going forward is going to be $68. But it's over a 380 page book with 60 pages of rules, and then another 200 some odd pages of stats for all the rides, and all the rides are customizable. So it is not your father's mech battle game. It moves fast. Got to keep your head on a swivel. So, let's see. So I am painting up American War of Independence guys here, Pat. And yep, these guys are in their hunting shirts. So they'll mostly be like a linen color, probably. Looks like everybody had a good time out at Valhalla, from the pictures I saw. I don't know. It might butt up against Adepticon next year. Adepticon is going to be in April next year. So. So, kind of wish Rumble had a better discoverability, better algorithm. There's what, 50 million people that use Rumble. I'm sure somebody in that number would be interested in painting miniatures other than just Patty over here. But they'll never know this channel exists because there is no discoverability. It's a tough one. It's a tough one to figure out. But I'm on YouTube, and if you are watching on YouTube, hey, how about a like and a subscribe? Same thing if you're watching on Rumble, you can like and subscribe. And Twitch, if you're watching for the first time on Twitch. Because I'm on Social Stream Ninja, and I can't tell how many people are viewing any particular platform right now. So if you're out there, if you're watching, hop in chat. Tell me about if you like to paint miniatures, if you've never painted a miniature before in your life, if you want to learn how to start, if you want some advice on where to go to get paints and figures, let me know. It's what this channel is here for people that are sort of starting out. It's here for everybody, really. I started it for my own reasons, to give me a day and time that I have to sit down and paint. Because if I'm just left to my own devices, I can be something of a procrastinator. Although I've learned that procrastination isn't always necessarily procrastination. There's other issues behind that sometimes. So look at this guy. Look how nicely that face is sculpted. Even though it's hiding behind this big telephone pole here, that's supposed to be a flagpole, but it looks like a telephone pole to me. But some really good sculpture at this particular scale. This is very small. How small is it? This is very small. So here's your usual 28 to 32 millimeter figure, and here's these guys. So you can see that there is a significant difference in height and size. So it is almost 8 o'clock. I've been streaming now for about an hour, because I started pretty well on time today. No technical hiccups. That was nice. Got a good start. We've had some pretty good active chat tonight. Oh, well, send my regards back to your wife then, there, Miar. Say hello to Mrs. Miar for me. Painting 15s again makes me want to get out some of my old DBA armies and get those finished up. I've got Hebrews and I've got Philistines. Of course I do. I've got ancient Germans. Don't have any Romans though. I never did get any. I missed getting a whole big batch of Romans one time, but they were all old school lead, like looked really soft, and they didn't look like they would be fun to work on. So I passed those up. And without having an army list with me at the time, I didn't really know what I wanted to buy. So I knew that that would have been a disaster, just buying to buy. You know, that's when you have a problem, when you're just buying to buy. I think it's next door. Next door is working on getting their trash cans down to the street, I think. Alright, so those guys are in their hunting shirts and breeches. These other guys' breeches and waistcoats are done-ish. So we'll get some blue out and paint up these guys' jackets. But before we go there, I think we're going to take a little bio break real quick. No, it's not a Taco Bell inspired bio break. It just happens to be a regular bio break because it's, you know, that happens. Living, breathing human being. Contrary to popular belief, I am a living, breathing human being. So I'm going to take a little bio break here and be right back after these messages. All right, and we are back. Hope everybody is doing well. I mean, I was only got a car for a couple. Hey, what are you doing? Pumpkin, get out of here. Come on, out. Get out, Pumpkin. Out, out, out. He's a sneaky little guy, that Pumpkin. All right. Let's see. Okay. So, blue. Let's see, we tried Prussian blue, which was a little light. We used dark Prussian blue, which is darker. Let's use, let's go with Prochryl's blue. Or, wait. What other colors do we have? What other odd blue colors do we have here in the paint library here in the Pocket Dimension? We've got ultramarine blue. We've got imperial blue. Let's see, I've got heavy blue. I've got blue wash. Well, that might be interesting. I've got another copy of blue wash, which actually looks darker. I've got electric blue. I've got enchanted blue. I've got sky blue. What's this? This is Behir Breath. Don't know what that really is, but it looks like blue. I got Sea Hag blue, which is kind of greeny. Got a little bit of green in it. Well, let's go with this one here. This is Vallejo Game Color, ultramarine blue. So we'll see how ultramarine-y it is. It's probably so ultramarine. Let's see, I'm going to put it on the mixer, so noise, horrible noise coming up. Here you go. All right, now let's use the Reaper Pokey tool to open it up here. All right. Yeah. I think this is a considerably different blue. This is sort of a dusty blue, in my opinion. See, that's kind of a dusty blue when compared to this dark Prussian blue and the Prussian blue before it. It's kind of got a dustiness to it. It's lighter than Prussian blue, but it's a little bit almost on the gray side, really. All right. Let's use what we've got there. So let's use this ultramarine blue. And I don't have a problem using different colored blues in the same unit because there's always differences in dyes and the way things get weathered and sun bleaching and lots and lots of different things. It's like trying to take two olive drab uniforms from World War II and match them exactly. You'll never do it. Because you know that weird tan sort of color, that a golden tan, almost like what you might call a khaki, that is portrayed for the paratroopers of the era. Yeah, that was actually classified as olive drab. But it doesn't look like any olive drab that I've ever seen. But it is officially an olive drab. So So here's something funny. This is kind of odd. And it's sort of frustrating, especially because the time period that I'm working in right now with the AWI figures here gives itself to whistling or humming or singing little snatches and snippets of traditional music, time period music, which is all public domain. And I have been seeing more and more accounts of people who are doing public domain based things on YouTube get dinged pretty hard by YouTube for things that are clearly in the public domain. Very odd. Very disconcerting, you know. Davey 504, a bass playing channel. So what he does is he talks about playing bass and critiquing bass styles and working on music with his bass guitar. He got dinged for playing a piece of music that was written in 1801, I think, I want to say. It's like, it's public domain. Now, you can actually, now, for copyright, you can actually, a copyright holder, if he were just playing their recording of something, then it would be a problem. But it was his own recording of a piece that's in the public domain. And they dinged him for it. That is bonkers, crazy nuts. Yar said, I was going to say anything in 1800s is public. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, and even a lot of traditional music. Like old mountain music. Stuff you hear in the Appalachians. That's all public domain as well. Nobody owns it. I mean, 1800s is definitely public domain. 1801, I think, actually. I mean, there's no disputing it. But the YouTube algorithm is a little bit overly sensitive. Somebody at YouTube, I think, kind of turned the dial up to 11 or 12 on it, and it just kind of went wild. It's going after channels that never had problems before, that don't use anything. I mean, things that are definitely authentic. And yet, here I am getting bombarded with history channels that are nothing but AI written, AI voiced, AI edited. And channels that are a dozen years old are getting dinged. Which is why, as a creator, as a creative, if I want to have things stick around, I put them on Rumble. Because on Twitch they go away in 2 weeks. They go away. They're gone. And if I ever wanted to use that footage, if I ever learn how to edit better and to do all the things better, I edit okay right now. But if I ever wanted to use certain footages from my old streams, well, anything that is out there that I did before Twitch decided to start letting people did the same thing and start letting people multi-stream. All that is gone. But now, if I wanted to go back and use some footage from something, I could. I could find something, but then YouTube would probably scrape it. The AI at YouTube would probably scrape it and be like, "Oh, you used this footage already in this video, so in this live stream, so therefore you're reusing content." It's like, well, yeah, I don't. YouTube has some serious problems for creatives. Not that I'll ever have time to really get that creative, I think. I think this is probably about the best I'm going to be doing. Maybe. Maybe ever. I mean, I got to be realistic about it, right? So, I mean, I may never ever revisit anything that I've ever already recorded, any live streams, but they're there if I ever decide to. But I thought about trying to paint some of these guys up with like brown jackets, but I'd already started in with the blue, so that's what we're going to be doing. But these are painting up pretty quickly. I mean, there's a lot. They're not very big, so it's easy to get a lot of surface covered on them. The difficult part is going to be getting the details painted in correctly. Although I've already got things painted incorrectly. So I think I'm not going to worry about it. Because the information that I needed came in too late. Too late. It's too late. It's too late to make a change. Now, if anything will get me demonetized from being not monetized yet anyway, it would be that. A little Def Leppard parody there. I'm sure the algorithm will figure that one out. And retroactively demonetize me. So. If I were to even ever get monetized at YouTube, a long way to go for that kind of thing. I got so much work to do. I've got so much work to do. So many things I need to finish editing. If I didn't have to work 40 hours a week, I could probably work. If I didn't have to work 40 hours a week for an employer, I could probably work 60 to 100 hours a week for myself. For less pay. What would be really terrific is if I was good enough to have a Patreon. What would I do with a Patreon? I don't know. Take on actual painting students? Not that I really need, not that anybody's beating down my door to learn how to paint. Now, why am I not painting the coats of the musicians? Well, because the musicians actually get a reverse color. So I'm going to paint the turnbacks and cuffs of these guys with yellow, I think. Yellow or buff. Something in that neighborhood. And which means the musicians will be wearing the reverse of that. So they'll be wearing yellow jackets with blue liners. Unless that was only a Napoleonics thing. I don't think it was. I think it pretty well held true from the era of pike and shot all the way through Napoleonics. Completely missed that shoulder and arm there, didn't I? Even though I think these are some pretty good sculpts, there are a few blobby sections where some of the details kind of melt into each other, which that's always been an issue with historical miniatures. I think historical gamers are they're either a lot more forgiving of, it's funny because, so there's a what I call the historical miniatures paradox, which goes something like this. Good enough is good enough unless I want to be nitpicky about it. So what I mean by that is you'll have some people that want to be known as experts, so they will come to your table and they will tell you how wrong all your paintwork is, and that unit didn't wear that color there at that particular battle, without understanding that you might just be using the figures that you happen to have in your collection. Which historical miniatures are kind of like that. Sometimes you just have to use what you have in your collection. It's just like my 8th Army guys, right? I'm not going to be painting a whole new 8th Army in Africa. I'm just going to use the guys that I already have for Europe. I mean, if I'm playing, I don't want to collect multiple armies for multiple theaters when it's the same army. It's the same guy with the same gear, only his uniform is not desert khaki, it's European brown, olive brown, whatever you want to call it. It just happens to be what I have. But the order of battle is correct. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So, get a little bit more of that ultramarine blue out here. I think I may grab a bottle of water here in a second. That should get the YouTube bots are running. Of course, if it's as off pitch as I think it was, it won't register at all. Or it will just for them to get rid of me. Haha. All right, let's see. Just painting here. Get these blue coats painted up. Completely incorrect, I'm sure. Or maybe they're correct. I don't know. They're going to be fine. I think they're going to be fine for what we're doing. Alright, I think I got all the blue coats painted in blue coats. I think. We'll see. Alright, all the hunting shirts, those guys are all in white, because that's going to not be white when I'm done with it. Probably go back over it with ivory. Let me clean this brush out. Pumpkin got in here the other day. I accidentally left the door open for a moment. And he came in and waddled all over the desk. Knock things over, knock things down. Knock the mouse off the desk. So when I looked to start streaming tonight, I couldn't find the mouse for the computer. Where in the world was it? Excuse me, beg pardon. Whew. Oh my. So good cleaning brings our brush back to a fairly sharp point. I'll have to do some finagling and fix that tip, but yeah. Then we're going to use some of this ivory on these guys with the hunting shirts. Watch your ears, noise. got some ivory going on here. And we'll just paint up these guys in the hunting shirts a little bit more. And yeah. A wash is going to do a lot of heavy lifting on these guys. The smaller scale figures, I think, do really well with a nice wash. So I think what we could do is we could wash them and then pick out the details, because the wash will flow into the low places and kind of enhance the thing overall. Probably do the skin and the hair and the like for that. Give the off-white kind of buckskin look. It's a little bit light, really, but that's okay. When we hit it with that wash, it will definitely darken it down some. We could even use the Speed Paint 1.0. Good old Speed Paint 1.0. Because I haven't invested in the 2.0 yet. And just like I haven't invested in the Army Painter Fanatic line, because I still have so much of the war paints left over still. And I do alright with those. And I got my Vallejo and I've got my Pro Acryl, and I've got all the things that I need, really. I've got coat to arms over in the... If I'm feeling particularly nostalgic, I can get my coat to arms out. And I've got some... I've got the Genesis 1 and 2 kits from Cuttlefish Colors. So I think I'm pretty well set for as far as paint goes for a while. And everybody's got different colors that I like out of each range. So... No paint line, no particular paint range is perfect. You're going to find things out of each paint range that work better for you than others. That's just the fact of the matter. Kind of a fact of life as well. So we'll see how far we can go tonight. I'm getting to a point where I think I've done a pretty good amount of work on these all tonight as it goes. So if I took a break, I wouldn't be sad about leaving these until my next painting session. Not next week. I wouldn't leave them till next week to do it, to pick them up again, but you know, it just happens to be that I'm working on them now, and I worked on them this past Saturday. So yeah. Yeah. I've done some pretty good work on them so far. And they do go pretty quick, as small as they are. And we're doing batch painting. So that's another mark in our favor. We're going to use a lot of hobby cheats to get these done. A lot of cheats. Which I suppose one of the cheats I could have done is I could have spray painted them in color. But what color? That's a good question. Hey Beans, how you doing? Haven't seen you for a while. So I'm working on some figures for a game, a American War of Independence game. So these are American Light Infantry. And they are going to be for a game of... we're going to be using Regimental Fire and Fury for our rules. And it is a game depicting the Battle of Saratoga during the early part of the American War of Independence. So there's those guys. Blue jackets, white pants. I haven't gotten to the details yet, but probably going to put on yellow turnbacks and yellow cuffs. They got a little gold plate or a little brass plate right here on their hat, and I believe they got a blue sash, like a light blue sash up here as well. So those are more the regulars, which they also had regulars that were wearing what they call hunting frocks or hunting shirts, which is kind of a item of frontier wear back in the day with the fringes, made out of linen or buckskin. So that's what I'm working on right now. These are, of course, the standard bearers and musicians. And this guy is a sergeant. He's got the spadroon there. And yeah, so that's what we're working on. We're going to be hosting this game in July, I believe, is what the plan is. So got kind of a ways to go before I have to have these finished, but I'd like to get them done and off of my table so I can move on to other things. I've got some things for other people as well. And our, let's see, Tech Commander 3rd edition dropped. Well, it dropped actually at Adepticon, but now you can get the physical rulebook for the game. You can also get the PDF, which is $10, or the physical rulebook, which is $68. And that is available from Sea Dog Game Studios, which allows you to play with beautiful mechs like this. This is one of our mechs. This is the Night Watch mech. You know it's the Night Watch because he's got the Illuminator package on top there. And this is the Linebacker mech. You can see they're different sizes. The Linebacker mech is what we call an Armor Class 6 mech. And of course, the cool thing about this game is that your rides are customizable. That's right, you can plug and play as long as the stats on your ride allow it. And what that means is if you have the energy to run the weapon, and if your chassis has the room to hold the weapon, you could outfit your ride. Maybe not like that. I don't know if that's a legal build or not. But you can outfit your ride as you see fit, as long as you don't exceed the weight requirements or the power requirements. So it's a highly customizable game. We want people to be able to take control of their experience. But yeah, it's a great little game. If you check it out at Sea Dog Game Studios, like I said, the PDF is only $10. You get all over 380 pages of rules. I believe it's 386 pages. So how many of them are there? So there are a whole lot of them. Now in the book, it shows over 200 builds, 200 ways to build your mechs. And of course, with the sort of you customize it Lego approach, you can probably come up with more ways to customize your mechs. So that's the one thing I like about that game. It also plays very fast, extremely fast. If you're used to slow-paced mech games where you're thinking out every move and thinking about what's happening, Tech Commander is the opposite of that. It is very fast, dynamic. It's a dynamic environment, is what I would have to say. So a dynamic environment is going to, we feel, is more engaging. You never know what the next turn is going to bring, or how the battlefield is going to develop. Because somebody could pop smoke, and if you pop smoke, it actually affects everything on the battlefield. Because the battlefield is actually fairly small. So if you have things that work really well with smoke, you'll be really happy. If smoke obscures a particular weapon system that you have, you may be very sad. As an example. Yeah, and see, those are the canned builds. So those are the canned builds that Dave and I have been play testing over the last few years at the conventions. So they got put in the book so that people can play those convention builds at home. But the real heart of the game is the fact that you can customize your rides to your taste. So that's something we're really proud of, is the customization rules. And we don't limit the player with something as arbitrary as heat. So other mech games, you have a resource that limits what you can do. Our resource in our games is usually an economy of actions. So mecha get 2 actions per turn, and vehicles and infantry, tanks, all that kind of thing, they get one action per turn. And you're probably saying, well, why wouldn't anybody not take mechs? Because there are other advantages that vehicles and power armored infantry and the like all have that make them viable threats on the battlefield. So everything can kill everything else as well. So you always have a pretty good chance of doing some good damage. I mean, sometimes there are some things that, you just can't pump out quite enough shots. But within a turn or two, you will kill something outright. It's a really great game. We've worked hard on it. We've had lots of people play it at conventions. We've done a lot of play testing ourselves. We've had a lot of rules discussion, late night rules discussions. There's a piece of equipment in the gear section that I'm particularly proud of the work we did on that rule. It's sort of a ballistics intercept, and what we looked at the way we used to write the rule, and it was kind of clunky and hard to understand, and so we boiled it down to what is it actually supposed to do. So we looked at it, and we figured it out. We figured that the computer running it, the further you are away from the person that is shooting at you, the more effective this particular piece of equipment is going to be. But if they are closer to you, it's going to be harder for the computer to react. So it's one of those things that works really good at an optimum range. Well, we don't have optimum range anymore, but it works really good when things are further away and they're shooting at you, because you have better reaction time. Closer in is going to be harder to stop those shots. But we simplified the rule for it, and I'm really proud of that the input that I've had with that particular rule. And I think it's one of the really neat things that shows how it's kind of a very streamlined, we were going for more streamlined ways to present things. And I think we did a good job. But yeah, there's a lot of work went into it, a lot of love, a lot of frustration. There are some things that I'm responsible for that they didn't like. made more work for poor Brian. The idea of having cards built out for the convention rides, the canned rides, that was my idea. So those are in the book now. The old book was similar, had something similar, but this has all the equipment as they're equipped in the game. So you can take those prototypes and you can subtract things off of them and add and subtract, or subtract and add, I should say. Because the convention rides are pretty well stacked out with good gear. The canned, I shouldn't call them convention rides. I should call them canned. The canned rides. The not recommended builds. I wouldn't want to call it recommended builds either. That's not the right word for it. Yeah, all right. Well, thanks for stopping in, Beans. Appreciate it. Hadn't seen you for a while. Nice to see you again. Take care. Have a great evening. Whatever you are doing, have a good time. And remember to paint all the things. Oh, looks like I missed a parting line right there. Oh well, it looks like a seam on the jacket. We'll go with that. Cool. We'll clean off the brush again with a little bit of brush soap. This is the brush soap from Games and Gears. It's probably no different than, it's probably just a chopped out little piece of Master's brush soap, but it's effective. It does what it needs to do. It's brush soap. Get you some brush soap, whether it's Master's or something from Games and Gears or Jen's Drunken Brush Goop from Pro Acryl, which I like to use as well. More for a condition. Excuse me, more as a conditioner than as a cleaner. In fact, they've got Jen's Drunken Brush Goop 2.0 now, so that's kind of cool. Have to look into that, see how it's different. So, I'm gonna take a minute and grab something to drink real quick. I shall be back. All right, I'm back. So, need a little drink here to. It's just water, by the way. Need to wet my whistle here. Wet my whistle, as they say. All right. So I think the next thing to do here maybe touch up the white a little bit. I don't know. Maybe not worry about that until I do a wash. I think I'll go ahead and paint up their faces, hands, hair, and hats. All right. Let's see. Fair skin. Here we go. And you use Reaper's Fair Skin 09047, which I think is a really good color for Caucasian skin overall. Personally, I like it. If it comes out of the bottle. If I can get it out of the bottle. There we go. Hey, Grimla, hey, how's it going? How's it going here? It's going pretty good. It's going pretty good. I am working on some figures for my club's Battle of Saratoga game that we will be hosting in July. So these guys here are outfitted in the hunting shirt. So I gave them a coat of white. So I primed them in gray, as you can probably tell. Primed them in gray. Gave them a coat of white because the breeches were white or linen. And then what I did is I took a little bit of ivory and I painted the hunting shirts in ivory. Now, probably the linen would have also been sort of an ivory color, but I wanted to give a little bit of definition and difference there. So I'm about to paint their faces and hands, if I can get the paint out of the bottle. So it's going pretty good, Grim. I hope that things are going well for you. Are you a miniatures painter, and is this the first time you've been to my channel? Because I don't think I recognize your username. If you have been by, it might be in a while back. So I apologize. But welcome if you're the first time viewer. I get a lot of times I get people that will watch, but they never jump in the chat. So welcome either way. So we'll use a little bit of that. That is 09047 Reaper for fair skin for the hands and faces here. Lack of knowledge is Canadian, but are these colonial or British forces? And yes, first time you remain, they 40K. These are going to be, these are colonials. So these are colonials. These are the 7th Light Infantry according to the bag. So I have the 6th Continental Infantry in rifle shirts. Those are the hunting shirts. So I've got those there. But I lost the bag hanger for these guys. But supposedly these guys are the 7th, the Continental 7th Light Infantry, which I couldn't find any information on their uniforms. Some of my research was saying that they were a Massachusetts unit, but I didn't see anything that was definitive about them being a Massachusetts unit. So I just went ahead and gave them blue coats as befits Continental unit. But the Continental units were all over the place with their uniforms. The British are often portrayed as having red coats, although they'd also had units that had green coats, like the Dragoons. And they also had units. They had irregular units. There were loyalist militias, just like there were revolutionary militias, that would also wear like brown jackets, whereas a lot of the revolutionary forces would also wear brown jackets. So there was a lot of confusion at times. But I'll tell you what, if you thought getting the right color for a 40K unit would drive you bonkers, try doing Revolutionary War. It's all over the place. Yeah, it is absolutely crazy. Napoleonics, I've got some Napoleonics I've been working on too, off and on, and they are also, they're a lot less scattered than, they're a lot more uniform in their uniform than American War of Independence. Is what I'm trying to get to. So, yeah. So if you were looking for the perfect shade of blue for your Ultramarines, try painting something for the American War of Independence. It is absolutely bonkers. But these are 15 millimeter scale, so they are considerably smaller. They are considerably smaller than 40K stuff. So here's Mel Bowes, who in real life is a little over 6 feet tall. And let's say these guys are about between 5'9" and 6 feet tall. They are considerably small. They're they're like a leprechaun to Mel size there. So here's a figure that's very similar in size to a Primaris. So you can see how much smaller these 15s are than the current Warhammer scale. But they paint up pretty quickly. And you can do a lot of hobby cheating on them as well. Whereas like a 40K stuff, I will paint, and I will paint it very precisely. I tend to be a little bit more loose with the 15, loose in my style than the 15 millimeter. But no, Canada actually has quite a lot to do in the between the French and Indian War and then the War of Independence. There was a lot going on, actually, believe it or not. And then, of course, War of 1812. There was a lot of movement in Canada. So, but as I understand it, the hockey season is starting to wind down with the playoffs. Is there one more set of games for the playoffs? I don't keep track that much anymore. I used to a little bit more years ago, but as is things sports, I tend to, my interest grows and waxes and wanes sometimes. Let's see. Live in a big war of 1812 community across from Detroit. Yep. So this recently knowledge on that. Yep. Must look cool on the tabletop at that scale and big line formations. Yeah. It's we're looking forward to it. It will look pretty neat. Small soldiers for big battles, you know. And then a company I work with, I should say, from time to time, called Sea Dog Game Studios, just released their their mecha game called Tech Commander 3rd edition. So if you like BattleTech but you wish it were faster, check out Tech Commander by Sea Dog Game Studios. The PDF is $10. It is over 380 pages. Has mechs that you can customize. Even if you don't buy the figures that they make, you can customize them on paper and use what figures you have, but I think you would like the figures we have. Just to give you an idea. So this is one of the mechs I've been working on. You can pop off that weapon. And you could pop on these weapons. If I can pop it off the other unit here without breaking it. There we go. If you like customizing like Legos, you could customize your ride. I mean, there are rules for customization, how much they can handle, how big the weapon can be in weight, and how much energy it uses. But you can actually swap your weapons between units for customizing your build each game. It is very skirmish oriented, and as with all Sea Dog Game Studios products, it is intended to give the player the most amount of agency that they can have in the game. So, let's see, one of the rare Canadians that don't follow hockey, although big rugby and football game. Okay, cool. So, since you like rugby and football, this dude is called the linebacker. He's huge. Dun, dun, dun. So that's for Tech Commander by Sea Dog Game Studios. Pretty good game. Check it out. PDF's only $10 for 386 pages of fast, furious fighting mecha goodness. I only say that because the hard copy is available as of today. I mean, obviously people could pre-order it, but the hard copy is available today. It's actually in warehouse now. So, looking forward to getting my final copy of it soon. Proud of the work I did on it with Brian and Dave and Ed. We've done a lot of good work with it. Hopefully people will enjoy it as much as we enjoyed making it. Which that sounds trite, but we did have a good time. A some gnashing of the teeth and pulling of the hair. But yeah, I mean, you could magnetize them if you wanted to, but we use little pieces of wooden dowel, and you know, the holes, the sockets are already molded into the model, so you just pull one off, and stick it on to the next one. It's very low tech, but it works really well. And if the hole's not big enough, you can always feel free to use a little basic modeling skill, and just open it up with your drill bit. I believe these are 1/8 inch dowels, so easy to get. And then if they break on you, all you gotta do is cut it short and drill it out with an 1/8 inch drill bit and put a new one in. I mean, yeah, it's a little work to to repair them, but they don't. We haven't really had any. We've really not had any real problem with breakage. Just don't go throwing them across the room. You know, treat them like you would any figure. You know, you don't really need to be any more gentle or any less gentle. Definitely don't be any less gentle. But they are. We're pretty proud of that particular project. So what are you working on, Grim? Since you are a 40K guy, 40K player. I don't know if you're a guy or not. Guy is just a general term for any person. Sorry. It's his 50 years of English language. American colloquialisms, if you will. So, but what's your latest 40K project? What's your army of choice? Because I do the 40K as well, just I'm not doing it tonight. That's the thing. Kit bashing some Trader Guardsmen right now. Nice job. Speaking of Trader Guardsmen, have you seen the damned kits from War Games Atlantic? Have you checked those out lately? I have Iron Warriors myself, so my cultists are gonna be. I've got a bunch of cultists to paint up, and I've got a primarily Tallarn Imperial Guard, so I'm probably going to renegade out my Cadians that I have, the old school Cadians that I have. I will probably renegade them out as well. Iron within, iron without. There you go. I just picked up an old style Defiler too. It's funny, every time Workshop brings out a new sculpt, I always find myself not liking it. When they brought out, they redid the Dark Eldar. Just before they did it, I kind of went on a buying spree of the old Eldar because I just liked them better. Call me weird, but I like some of those older sculpts better than I like the newer sculpts. Like I'd like to get Havocs for my Iron Warriors, but I don't like the new Havoc. The new Havocs kit. Just not a fan of it. Don't get me wrong, they're great, but the older kits just had that much more character to them, I think. They had a little bit more of that archaic throwback to what was going to become, what would have become 30K in the style of weapons that they had. So, oh, phone is dying, Myar says. I went to go plug in and forgot about it. Oh no, Myar. Not the phone dying. Alright, we'll set those guys aside. Their hands and faces are done. Hands and faces on this next batch here. Now, generally, I try to do the hands and faces before everything else. But because these guys are so small, it just seemed like, I don't know, it just seemed like the hands and faces would get in the way with what I was doing. I try to do my figures from the inside out and from the lowest point to the highest point. But this time, I wanted to leave them to the last. The hands especially, because they are the furthest outside thing, so they are the furthest. They're probably likely to get hit with wet paint more often than not. So, but Grim, I took advantage of our nice weather down here in the Southlands to spray prime my Predator, my Chaos Predator and Rhino tanks to give my Iron Warriors something to ride around in. So I hit them with Lead Belcher. Lead Belcher is kind of a dark toned metallic. And so then I took some pewter spray, which is a little bit brighter. It's an art spray paint. I got it, I think, at Michael's. And used that on the upper surfaces to give it a little bit brighter top to kind of contrast with the darker lower part of the tanks. Sort of a zenithal kind of a highlight. Oh, sorry, what I said, stream was cutting in and out. Oh, I was just saying I've been working on my Iron Warriors, and so I did sort of a semi-zenithal with two different metallic silver colors. Starting out with Lead Belcher spray paint. And then I used an art color called Pewter to do the upper surfaces to give it a brighter look on top of the Rhino and Predator tanks. So get those primed up like that, and then I can do the details later on, you know. So let me see. I'll just pull out So right now, so far, this is what I've got. Here are my Raptors. So this is kind of a quick pack where I could work on it away. So I've got the Raptor bodies here. Beard hair. That's a cat hair. Bodies and jump packs. Little accessories from older kits. So quite a few Raptors. There's my fast attack. I've got some bikes as well. Old bikes, old Chaos bikes. And I've got a copy of, somebody sent me a copy of Doom Rider as well. So have Doom Rider leading the bikes. I wonder if I'm dropping. I have no drop frames according to my readout here. So it could be something else. It looks pretty solid going out here on my end, folks. It could be something else going on. Am I chopping out? Let me see. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can see where some things are being chopped out. Computer's doing funny things. Yeah. Come on, computer, don't lock up on me. Come on, buddy. There we go. Huh. Yeah, it doesn't say that I've got any drop frames here in my it says my connection is good here, so maybe it's something in between here and there. Let's see what Twitch is looking like. Twitch is looking pretty good. I'm seeing the circle of slowness there. But it says I've got an excellent connection. Everything here says excellent connection, so I don't know. I do not know. It's looking... Let's see. Let's see what Rumble's looking like here. Rumble's looking pretty good. Everything here checks out, folks. And I don't see any drop frames on my back end. So who knows? Who knows? And then here's a bunch more bits for Chaos that I've got here. So those guys are coming right along. Let's see. So here's another Sergeant, aka Aspiring Champion, Plasma Pistol, Bare Head, Power Fist, shouty and pointy. Very shouty, very pointy. Here's another one. So dude with a melta gun. Huh. Wonder why he's got green stuff holding that melta gun on. That's weird. I don't remember doing that. Another melta gun guy. So stuff I could use. You know, that's the one thing I like about this stuff is the miniatures don't know what games you're using them for. So if I find a game that allows me to have a whole squad of guys with melta guns and plasma guns, I'm going to use them in that game. Let's see. Here's my berserkers. So a mix of old and new parts. So old legs, old bodies. That's a new fist from a newer kit. That's an older backpack as well. So I was trying to figure out, do I go with swords or do I go with axes if they're going to be cornate, but they're going to be Iron Warriors with the but they're going to be cornate Iron Warriors. So I just figured I'd use the chain swords because I don't think I really have much in the way of axes. I've pretty well built all this stuff out of parts that I had. So all these guys are just basically spare parts army. And then we got the big bad dude here, the leader. That was I got that out of that's an eBay mini rescue type situation. So I got some rework to do on him. Let's see, gonna switch over to your YouTube stream real quick, see if that helps. Yeah, sure. I may just call it. So, see what Grim has to say if he pops in over on the YouTube. Like you said, Miar, it's probably time for a new computer. Okay, so my computer is doing some weird things behind the scenes. I just saw the little blue circle going. So it's trying to look for something. It's thinking too hard. So I may just have to close up shop for tonight because it is it's probably a Wi-Fi thing. Well, I mean, it could be a Wi-Fi thing, Miar, but I've got my computer plugged in through an Ethernet cable. I mean, it could be Wi-Fi, but my computer is connected to the server or to the router through an Ethernet cable. So maybe maybe everything just needs a big reset. Still buffering. Yeah, it's probably the computer. Well, I won't trouble everybody to stay on. I think I'll go ahead and cut things down for the evening. It's almost 10 o'clock. So if you want to sign off, that's doesn't hurt my feelings at all. But it must have just started. Must have just started. But yeah, I don't use Wi-Fi for my connection for streaming. So well, I think that's probably going to be it for the evening then. It's 10:15. It's a good time to hang it up, I guess. Still have to take I collected the garbage up and put it in the garbage can. I just need to take it down to the street now. So, I think, let me just check. No. Yeah, I definitely need a new computer. So 30 feet per second at YouTube, 30 feet per second at Rumble, 0 drop frames according to OBS. Huh. And everything on the backstage looks good. So, all right. Well, let's go. Let's call it a night, folks. Going on there. All right. Well, I think we're going to call it for tonight. Having some technical issues, evidently. Thanks for tuning in. Muir, Patty, Grim, Beans, and whoever else. That's who comes to mind at the moment. Thank you for all stopping in tonight. Great seeing you all. Remember, no matter how bad today might have been for you, the sun is coming up tomorrow and the world is a better place with you in it. Keep on painting and keep on playing. That is the end of tonight's stream. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being you. Good night, everybody. End of stream.